You can let this moment be simple. There is no need to solve the day before you rest. Nothing needs to be placed in perfect order. You may allow the evening to hold what remains unfinished. Settle in whatever way feels most comfortable. Your eyes may close or your gaze may soften. Your hands can rest. Your shoulders can release only as much as they wish to release. Notice that your breathing continues without instruction. A breath arrives. A breath leaves. You may listen to it, or ignore it completely and listen only to the words. Perhaps the space across your forehead can grow smoother. Perhaps your jaw can be less firm. Let your arms be supported. Let your back and hips be carried. Your legs may become still without needing to feel heavy. If thoughts appear, imagine them as clouds moving across a wide sky. You do not need to change their shapes or follow where they go. The sky has room for each one, and room for clear space afterward. Somewhere beyond those drifting clouds, a gentle hill begins to rise. It is broad and green, with a path that curves gradually toward the summit. The path is firm beneath your feet, and low lanterns mark the way. Above, the evening sky deepens from blue to indigo. At the top of the hill stands an observatory. It is not a cold or distant place. Its walls are pale stone, its windows are warm, and a broad glass dome rests above the main building like a quiet bubble of light. Clouds lie below the hilltop, filling the valleys with a soft white sea. The ground beneath you remains steady and wide. There are no edges to approach and no height you need to notice. The observatory feels rooted to the earth. A wooden door opens before you reach it. An astronomer named Myra waits beneath the porch lamp. She wears a long gray cardigan and carries a notebook under one arm. "You are just in time for an evening with no schedule," she says. She smiles and steps aside. There is a constellation we sometimes see from the East Dome. It appears slowly, one star at a time. We call it the resting bird. No one has ever seen it by trying too hard. Inside, the entrance hall is warm. A fire glows behind a glass screen. Shelves hold star charts rolled into wide tubes. A long table supports a model of the night sky made from dark blue wood and tiny brass points. Myra places her notebook on the table. "Before the East Dome opens, 3 rooms need their lamps lowered," she says. "You may come with me. The observatory sees more when it is not too bright." Before the galleries, Myra leads you through a room of gentle instruments. They do not beep or flash. They are made from wood, brass, glass, and paper. A round barometer hangs beside the door. A ribbon turns slowly beneath a protected vent, showing the direction of the lightest breeze. On a long table, shallow bowls collect moonlight through different colored panes. Myra points to a glass cylinder, holding a strip of blue paper. "This records the softness of the night," she says. The paper is marked with pale waves rather than numbers. Tonight's line is low and even. Another instrument resembles a small house with many windows. Each window contains a square of fabric. Some are silk, some linen, some wool. The fabric that moves most easily tells the astronomers how the air is traveling around the hill. Tonight, only the thinnest silk lifts at one corner. You do not need to understand any of it. The instruments are simply ways of noticing what is already happening. On a side desk is a tray of smooth stones collected from the hill. Visitors are invited to choose one and place it in a bowl before entering the dome, leaving behind whatever weight they do not need for the evening. You may choose a pale stone marked with one white line. You hold it for a breath, then set it in the bowl. The sound it makes is small and final. The first room beyond the instruments is the cloud gallery. Wide windows look across the white cloud sea below. Framed paintings hang on the walls, each showing a different kind of cloud at a different hour. Morning clouds touched with peach. Tall summer clouds above green fields. Thin silver clouds crossing the moon. Tonight, the real clouds are low and smooth. Their upper surface moves very slowly, like breath beneath a blanket. Myra turns a brass wheel beside the door. The gallery lamps dim from gold to amber. At once the windows become clearer. The clouds seem closer, though the room remains secure and warm. "That is enough," she says. The second room is the map hall. A circular chart covers the floor. Constellations are drawn in fine silver lines, but many are named not after heroes or battles, but after ordinary things that comforted the people who mapped them. The open window, the garden chair, the bowl of pears, the homeward path. Myra kneels beside a lamp set into the floor and lowers its flame. The silver lines begin to glow faintly by themselves. She points to an empty space near the east. "The resting bird appears there," she says. "Sometimes it looks like folded wings, sometimes like a small boat. The sky does not mind what we call it." A second doorway from the map hall opens into a small planetarium. Unlike the great public planetariums of cities, this room holds only 12 reclining chairs arranged beneath a low, dark ceiling. A projector in the center looks like an old brass lantern. Myra turns one handle. The ceiling fills with a slow field of stars. They do not race or spin. One appears, then another. A faint horizon glows around the edge of the room, showing the shape of the observatory hill. "This is yesterday's sky," she says. "We keep it for anyone who was too busy to notice." The projected moon rises above the western wall. A soft line of clouds crosses beneath it. Constellations form and fade as the lantern turns. None is labeled. You are free to see a cup, a tree, a resting animal, or no picture at all. One section of the ceiling remains empty. "That is where tonight will go," Myra says. "After we see it or after we do not, an empty sky is still worth keeping." You rest in one of the chairs for a few moments. The seat supports your back and shoulders. Above, yesterday's stars move at a pace slower than thought. A tiny model train crosses the projected horizon, only a point of warm light beneath the sky. Farther on, a farmhouse lamp goes dark. The room's small world settles into night. Myra turns the handle once more, and the stars pause. The planetarium lamp lowers. The empty section of ceiling remains quiet, waiting without expectation. You continue to the third room. This one is a library, smaller than the others. Star journals fill the shelves. Deep chairs stand near a round window. On a side table waits a pot of warm tea and 2 cups. Myra pours without asking you to hurry. The tea tastes mild and slightly sweet. Perhaps it is made from lemon balm. Perhaps it is simply warm water carrying the fragrance of the room. Near the window lies an open journal. On the page, observers have written brief notes about nights when the resting bird appeared. 3 stars after rain. Visible while no one was speaking. 7 lights above the east cloud. Looked like wings closing around the moon. 1 note is written in a younger hand. I stopped looking, and then it was there. Myra reads the line and smiles. That is often how it happens. She lowers the library lamp until only the table and the cups remain softly lit. The observatory is ready. At the back of the library, a door leads to the astronomer's supper room. It is a plain, comfortable room with a long table, a small stove, and windows facing west. A covered basket holds slices of bread. A ceramic pot contains warm soup for anyone working late, though no one is expected to eat at a particular hour. On the wall hangs a clock with no numbers. Around its face are painted small pictures instead: sunset, first star, moon above the cedar ridge, midnight tea, last lamp, dawn cloud. The hand rests between first star and moon above the cedar ridge. Myra sets 2 bowls on the table, but leaves them empty. "We can eat after the dome," she says, "or tomorrow. The soup will not be offended." A shelf holds mugs painted by generations of visitors. Some show stars. Some show houses, birds, clouds, or simple stripes. You choose one with a blue line around the rim and fill it with warm water from a kettle. A slice of lemon floats on the surface. Beside the stove is a cork board covered with messages from the valley. Clouds lifted before breakfast. The school children saw Venus from the playground. Your borrowed blanket is washed and folded. The mill lamp will stay on during the fog. These notes make the observatory feel connected to the homes below, not separate from them. When the cup is warm in your hands, you return to the library. Before climbing, Myra opens a narrow cabinet beside the round window. Inside are small boxes labeled by season: spring rain, summer haze, first frost, long winter night. Each box contains the notes, sketches, and pressed plants collected during observatory evenings. She chooses the box marked Quiet Autumn Skies. Inside is a map drawn on translucent paper. Instead of plotting stars, it records the warm windows visible in the valleys below: farmhouse, mill cottage, station house, schoolkeeper's room. The astronomers mapped them on a cloudy night when no stars could be seen. A sky can be below us too, Myra says. You hold the paper near the window. The tiny inked lights align with real lights shining through gaps in the clouds far below. Some have gone dark since the map was made. Others have appeared in new places. Homes change, roads change, clouds move, and still the valleys find ways to glow. Myra returns the map to its box. On the cabinet door is a final note written in several hands. Nothing observed here needs to be captured completely. The words make the staircase ahead feel even easier. A curved staircase leads upward into the east dome. The steps are broad. A wooden rail follows them. As you climb, the air remains comfortably warm. At the top is a round room beneath the glass dome. A large telescope rests in the center, but it is pointed low and covered with a blue cloth. Tonight, you will not need it. Cushioned chairs face the eastern sky. Wool blankets are folded across their backs. A small stove glows in one corner. Myra opens 3 narrow panels in the dome. She does not open them to cold air. Clear glass remains between the room and the sky. The panels simply uncover sections that were shaded. More stars become visible. The clouds below reflect a little moonlight. Above them, the sky is deep and quiet. You settle into a chair and draw a blanket around you if you like. Myra sits nearby, her notebook closed on her lap. For a while, neither of you looks for anything in particular. The sky is enough. A bright star rests above the northern window. A smaller one appears near the moon. Farther east, a faint band of light crosses the darkness, not bright enough to demand attention. Your breathing continues. The clouds move below. The observatory holds steady. After some time, Myra speaks. The first star is usually near the cedar ridge. She points, but only generally. You look toward the east. At first, there is nothing new. Then a small pale star becomes visible just above the cloud line. It may have been there before. Perhaps your eyes simply needed time to notice it. Myra does not write it down yet. A second star appears farther to the right. The space between them forms no obvious shape. They are simply 2 quiet lights sharing the same sky. The moon moves behind a thin cloud. The dome grows softer. A third star appears beneath the first. Now the points begin to resemble the curve of a folded wing. Myra opens her notebook but keeps the pencil still. There is no need to complete it, she says. Even half a constellation is still a sky. You rest back in the chair. The room is warm. The blanket lies lightly across you. The glass dome keeps the night close without letting it become cold. A fourth star appears. While you wait without waiting, Myra tells you one more thing about the resting bird. Years ago, an observer saw only two of its stars through a break in the clouds. She drew them in her notebook and added a curved line beneath, making a small bowl. Another observer saw three and drew a roof. A child visiting from the valley saw four and said they were lanterns carried by people walking home. The observatory kept every drawing. None was corrected. We think the sky gives each person the amount of story they need, Myra says. The thought does not require an answer. You let it drift into the dome. Below, the cloud sea opens briefly around one hilltop. A single farm appears, its yard lit by a porch lamp. Then the clouds close softly over the valley again, leaving only the memory of that warm square. The fourth star remains. Then, after a long interval, a fifth. The shape is gentle and low, like a bird resting with its head beneath one wing. Or perhaps it is a small boat tied safely near shore. Or perhaps it is only 5 stars, which is enough. A sixth star does not appear. For a while you may wonder whether it will. The question remains gentle, like wondering whether a flower will open before morning. Nothing changes if it does not. Myra turns one page in the notebook and shows you sketches from earlier nights. Some resting birds have 6 stars, some have 4. One page contains only a smudge of cloud and a note that says, "Heard an owl. Saw nothing. Excellent evening." She closes the book again. The 5 stars above you are enough to hold the shape. Their light reflects faintly in the curved glass of the dome. For a moment, a second resting bird appears closer, made from reflections rather than distant stars. Then you move your head slightly and it becomes scattered points again. The sky is always changing with the place from which it is seen. Myra finally writes one line in the notebook. Resting bird visible, no one hurried it. She closes the notebook again. The constellation does not grow brighter. It remains faint, easier to sense than to study. You may stop looking at any time. You may allow your eyes to close within the imagined dome. The stars do not disappear because you no longer watch them. They can continue shining without your attention. Myra turns the final lamp lower. The room becomes mostly sky. The model downstairs rests in darkness. The silver map lines hold their gentle glow. The cloud gallery watches the valleys fill and empty beneath the moon. The whole observatory seems to breathe with you. A quiet arrival. A quiet release. The resting bird remains in the east. Perhaps its folded wing begins to open into a dream. Beyond it may be a wide field beneath dawn-colored clouds. A path may lead through tall grass to a house with blue shutters. Or a small boat may travel across a lake that reflects every star without trembling. Or the bird may simply remain where it is, keeping watch over the sleeping hills. You do not need to decide what it means. Meaning can wait. The picture can soften. The stars can blur at the edges. The clouds below can become a wide white blanket over the valleys. Myra rises quietly and leaves the notebook on the table. She does not say good night. She knows the dome is a room where endings do not need to be announced. The door remains open to the warm staircase, but there is no need to move. Your chair is comfortable. The glass is clear. The hill is steady beneath the observatory. The constellation fades a little as the moon brightens, though you know it has not gone anywhere. A star near the wing. A star near the cloud. A warm lamp low behind you. No schedule. No search. No need to keep watching. The next breath arrives. The next breath leaves. Clouds move slowly beneath the night. Stars rest quietly above them. And the observatory remains warm and still, holding the sky while you drift toward sleep.